Hi, everybody. I'm Deacon Dave, and I'm not even sure if the video started, but I wanted to beat Lisa to it.
I'm Layperson Lisa.
And welcome to the
Deacon
Deacon Dave and
Layperson
Layperson Lisa
Lisa
show.
show.
So we're continuing on in the Be Healed book, Lisa, on now episode 19,
Yes.
which is pages 128 through 129 that we're going to cover. And part of what it says in this area of the book is that suffering is an experience of evil.
Yes.
Right. And a lot of evil and a lot of suffering, okay, has come from sin,
Yes.
which is basically
Evil.
right. It separates us from God and it creates dissidence. So our suffering is a result of evil in the world.
Yes.
It is a result of sin. And a lot of times, I would say...
Even if it's not sin that we cause, which I think is a good, something to bring up. Because like in Job, like his friends were trying to say, oh, you must have done something wrong. And that's why that suffering was coming upon him.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Beat you
That-
beat you to it.
Yes, I thought you interrupted me, which was rather rude, but that's okay.
I'll raise my hand next time.
Yes, please. And I will not call on you so that I can be first. But you're right. I mean, oftentimes suffering is not of our own accord. I mean,
Right.
in some ways, it's a little easier to deal with if it's your own fault. You may not be happy about it, but at least it's your own fault. But to be diagnosed with cancer or ALS or, for a drunk driver to hit someone in your family, all of these things that are completely have nothing to do with you or that you created in any way are probably the most difficult sorts, like you said, of suffering to embrace,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But Jesus, he didn't sin.
Right.
He wasn't the cause of any suffering.
Yes.
Yet he freely entered into dying on a cross. However, what happened in the Garden of Gethsemane?
He asked God to allow this cup to pass if it was his will.
Right. Well, it wasn't his will.
Right.
Right. His will was for him to die on a cross.
Right.
But even Jesus and
He still prayed about it.
yeah, and so I think there's a couple of things here, right? In that time of despair and because he was already suffering, right? He was suffering because he was bleeding. I mean, he was crying
Blood.
blood.
He was crying blood.
Right. It's sweating blood.
Sweating blood.
Yeah, sorry, that was
Oh.
my fault. And so he was already experiencing, right, the suffering that goes along with what was going to happen
Yeah.
in an emotional and psychological way.
Oh, yeah.
He wanted to be in community. He wanted people to be present to him.
Right.
And they weren't.
Right.
But so I think that's the first message from the garden is that we can so often be busy that we don't take time to visit people that need to be visited.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, that Jesus said, hey, if there's a plan B, I'm okay with that.
Right.
Right. And so often we want a plan B, but that's not the will of God. Right. And so we enter into that suffering in a way that's meant to be redemptive because Christ's suffering, right, redeemed all of us. And that same redemption is also brought to us.
Yes. But we have to remember, Jesus is alive.
Yeah, and I think in our suffering, Lisa, sometimes we don't walk through it as if it has been redeemed, as if he has
right.
been resurrected.
We stay in the tomb.
Right. And so I think part of our suffering is designed, right, for us to die to maybe something of ourselves and to recognize this full reliance that we need to have on God.
Yeah.
So that, as you suggest, he can then pull us out of the tomb.
Yes.
That we can have a resurrection and not remain steeped in that suffering.
Right. Exactly.
You
Go ahead.
had something you wanted to say, Lisa?
No. Because of Christ's victory over sin and earth, the cross has become the font of our healing and redemption. But you pretty much said that.
Yeah, so I stole the last line. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah.
I like this. His victory over sin and the earth. Isn't that an interesting...
Yeah, because we usually hear sin and death.
Right. But, we are not of this world.
Right.
Right. We are pilgrims. And there are so many things that the earth wants to offer us, but they're all temporary.
Yeah.
And God's victory over all of this temporary stuff is a reminder of us to keep our focus on those things that are actually eternal.
Yes.
Especially when we are suffering. I'm Deacon Dave.
Only person Lisa.
See you next time.
Bye.